Alright, and as we're continuing this introduction before the summary, we have the other two characters. Now that Prophet's kind of out of the way, he's the most complicated, so I will be touching up his profile throughout the entire summary of the book-ish thing. So then we have the next character. He's the one that I wrote the summary with. His character's simple, but very involved. So, since his character is very involved, it makes him complex because his simple character is attached to a very complex character like Prophet, and he is Destiny. Um, I once I either get this book going or I find someone to help me get this book going, I would actually like to make Destiny a girl instead of a guy, but I'm really not good with any of the girl information, so I wouldn't even know where to start with the adjustments or modifications. And as a little kid, all I thought about guys, all the kids are guys, because I was a guy, so God forbid a girl show up. But yeah, a girl would make a great Destiny. And so Destiny starts out as 16 years old, prodigy, very intelligent, but very dense. And that's really how he goes through the entire plot. When he develops and learns his special skills, he is able to control people through what he says. It's kind of like if you've seen that movie Push that came out last year or so. Uh, there's the one girl they can set into your mind different thoughts and all that, and you have to fight it. Well, it's kind of like that to an extent. It's that one step better. Um, the way he does it is once you're ensnared, there's really no hope of getting out. I mean, in the Push movie, you could kind of use reality to figure out that you're being tricked, and then once you're tricked, you realize all the stuff that was fake. Well, with him, you can eventually realize that you're being controlled, but once you're being controlled, there is no way in your mind to figure out if which really happened and which one you were convinced of happening, because they were both equal realities to you. So, in then there's a huge chance that if somebody tells you, yeah, so you were here on Friday, that you will fight them like, no, I was over here. I know I was over here. That even if they have proof, be like, that proof is fake. It's all messed up. I mean, that's how powerful it is, but at the same time, it's making the connection, which is the tricky part for his skill, is because you have to start by feeding in something that's realistic, and then slowly can you diverge off to something that's not quite so realistic. So it's called like the commanding voice. That's the nickname for it, and so that's really basically all there is to that. Is it manipulates people, and so throughout the story, he, just like his father, is trying to do things the good way, quote unquote. But he's too dense to realize that most of what he does is just causing more issues. I mean, straight from the get go of the book, if he would just leave enough alone, millions of lives could have been saved. But and so then, whenever he realizes that he was the cost of lives, he tries to do better and better, and it just ends up destroying more and more lives. So, he is, if anyone is as close to a villain in this book, I guess he could be considered the villain, but at the same time, you're going through his point of view, so you never once consider him a villain. You think, well, he's doing his best he can. And that's the point of view that I wrote my last summary on, was going by his side, because it was simple and chronological. It didn't jump all over the place because, you know, it wasn't, he can't see visions and all that, so, but because he can control the mind, he understands anatomy pretty well, so he's the one who actually starts up necromancy. But necromancy wasn't started as an evil thing. It was started as a way to assist his troops, to give his fallen comrades a second chance to serve and to protect those they loved. And so, with manipulating necromancy, he does come up with ways of using other people's bodies to heal through absorbing their energy, and then he eventually just applies that to using magic. So through necromancy, he learns the art of healing the body, and then he also learns how you can get like all your limbs blown off and still be alive by mentally ignoring the fact that all your limbs are blown off, tricking your body and your soul. He truly starts understanding the difference between the soul and the body, the essence. So the soul is one part and the essence is the other. He starts understanding the difference between the two. And so all this stuff that he does in any other book you read is considered evil, but how it's presented here and how it's developed, you don't really register as evil. You're like, okay, this is normally evil, but it's for a good cause, because he's defending his troops. He's trying to be just. He's trying to avenge the lives that got lost. And so then, and that's how it is throughout the entire series, is he is really the evil one out of them, but he's the only one throughout the entire story that everyone looks at as good. He, maybe while reading the story, he uses his mind controlling on you, but the point is he's relates to every one of us, because he's that character that every one of us knows we have been at one point of our life, where we screwed up and we tried to make it better and it ended up just getting worse. And everyone that I know of should be able to relate to that. They just keep trying and trying and trying, and they just don't know what to do. And so, eventually, he learns that his father, who jumps between being extremely good, extremely evil throughout the entire story in the point of view of the average person, he realizes that his father's next move was extremely evil, is actually the end game. He's trying to end all the suffering by doing one final big nasty pitch between lives, one final war, one final battle, which doesn't quite go too well. And so, but then he realizes that that his father left a backup plan, and that he's the only one who can make sure the backup plan happens, or all will be lost. And that is the second major character, Destiny. Dense, kind-hearted, and the nicest evil person you've ever met, if you want to consider him evil. But I can almost guarantee you, throughout the story, you won't find him evil. You will find him good, even though he does quote-unquote evil things.